Welcome to the very first session of Complex Conversations via BlackBoiComplex.
Yeah.
All right, I got my homie Sir Knight. Introduce yourself, brother.
My name is Sir Knight. I am the co-founder of Black Trans TV. We facilitate a platform, YouTube and Instagram, to uplift, motivate, and inspire Black trans folks, as well as to educate Black trans people about what it means to be Black and trans, as well as Black folks in general. So it's a great, grand platform of education and learning and insight. And so check us out, YouTube at Black Trans TV or Black Trans TV, and then Instagram at Black Trans TV. So
I'll put the links in the description.
Yeah, that's me. That's what I'm about.
Screen.
Yeah.
And my name is Joe, and I am the founder and creator of BlackBoiComplex, which is pretty much a virtual safe space for all masculine identified, queer, trans, lesbian, gay, bisexual, agender, intersectional, all of that. Anyone who is masculine identified within the community is a pretty much a safe space, a virtual safe space for that. You can also follow me at Complex Black Boy on all of these platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'll also link those down in the description below. But if you're watching, then you were probably tuned into my YouTube channel. So right off the bat, we're kind of going to get into the conversation. Probably later in the video, you'll see a few more people sitting here. But I think the number one thing is, what are your pronouns, bro?
My pronouns, sir. So my name is a title, name, and a pronoun, sir. I also go by he, him, his, and I go by they, them, theirs, just because I'm a motherfucking entity. You feel me? Worldwide, global. Boom! I'm motherfucking business.
Same. I'm they, them, their, bruh, fam. Love, I'm all of that. I always say, it ain't really about the pronouns for me. Just don't call me miss or lady. Like,
facts, Don't disrespect me, right?
Yeah, just don't disrespect me and we good. But bruh, I always go by bruh. Like, that's kind of just my thing. Yeah. So, I brought you here today to kind of just talk about just masculinity in general. Mm-hmm. Just your masculine like how you identify in general and how you kind of use your masculinity, or just as a masculine person, how you navigate through the world with that. And I think in general, I found in conversations on Twitter, it seems to be that there is a disconnect between Black lesbians specifically, and Black trans and queer folk and gender non-binary folks. And I really want to talk about, number one, how you feel about that, like how that really makes you feel, what you think about that, like, and also just how you plan on moving with that information and how can we do better. Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot, right? So, I think that it's a person identifies, right? First. So that's a personal situation, right? So I identify as a man, you might not see me, so that's perception. There's two parts to that. So identity, I affirm who I am, and then two, your perception of who you think I am, just off, in general. Like, I can't lie, like, we all naturally are judgmental, right? You see somebody, you assume male or female. You never really assume genderqueer, trans, non-binary. That's just like fact, straight up, because we're all brainwashed from society, right? So it's either male or female, and we all have perceptions of what a man looks like, what a woman looks like. So personally, I can identify, or anybody can identify with whoever or whatever they are, and society can never see them as that, because it's also a particular aesthetic, but that aesthetic is particular to an individual's perception, right? So I think that's where I like to start when it comes to identity. So it's identity versus perception. But in the lesbian community, so coming out of that community, being perceived as a masculine presenting woman and now identifying as a man, it's like, where's the love? Where's the love? Because like, I step into that space and I feel like I'm violating that space just because of my identity. But then I'm also violating it because of the perception that people have of me, right? So I could walk into a lesbian, like, queer space, woman on woman type situation, and it's like, one, these women ain't for me, bro. Right? And two, if any of the women are looking at me, then the lesbians feel a certain type of way. Like, where's the love? Like, it's like, this is Q2POC. But also, it's like with identity, if I identify as something that isn't male or female, so other people beyond myself, non-binary, genderqueer, whatever, like you said, the word dyke, a lot of non-binary people are calling themselves dykes within the queer, particularly lesbian world, and they're not being accepted or feeling like they can't claim that word because dyke is particular to a lesbian. And I think that, like, there should be no boxes within the queer community, right? I think that these boxes are for the straight, cis, hetero society to understand who we are. I think that we should be free to navigate our identity as we see fit within the queer community, and we shouldn't have to label ourselves. And we should have more respect for those who have a different label or who go by a label we don't understand. Because we're queer, we should understand differences. We should respect differences. And I think that we don't. Like, straight up, like, being perceived as a lesbian, I got mad love when I went out. You know, but now it's like the moment I identify as who I was and visibly identify as who I was. Because, you know, you can identify as who you are, but if people perceive you as what they like or what they want and desire, then you Gucci, you cool, right? But the moment that you start to look like how you identify personally, then you're ostracizing yourself, and then you are ostracized by the lesbian queer community because you simply are living authentically, when the whole point of being queer, you know, as a queer person is living authentically. Whether you're a lesbian, you're a dyke, you're a trans man, you're a trans woman, you're non-binary, you're gender non-conforming, trans femme, trans mass, whatever you identify as, you should be included and you should be given love within the community. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like tough. I guess it's tough when it comes to labels. Like, I think these labels shouldn't be so weighted within the queer community. I think that could just scrap that whole conversation. You feel me? Yeah.
I think, you know, especially when I think about just my life up until the time that I decided that maybe identifying as just a woman who loved another woman wasn't enough. I think I actually realized that, number one, maybe there's more to these labels. We take these names, like for instance, dyke. One thing that I had mentioned, the word dyke was used as a slur. You know, it was used as a slur, and of course we reclaimed it. But back, I grew up in the South in Atlanta, and when someone called you a dyke, it wasn't sweet. It wasn't nice. It didn't make you feel good. You know what I'm saying? But we
derogatory term. Reclaiming.
So we called ourselves studs for a while, but they didn't care if you were gender nonconforming. They didn't care if you were trans.
No.
They didn't care.
Because it's perception, right? It doesn't matter.
Exactly. They perceived you as a dyke. That's exactly what you were, and there was nothing more to that. So when we claim that, and I say, you know, regardless, even if I step out in this world right now as a masculine person, I still got big ass breasts. I still have a little curve to my body. Someone's gonna call me a dyke, no matter how I identify. And so that's just me reclaiming that shit just for myself. You know
I understand. It's powering.
It's powering that for me because I'm a gender non-conforming ass dyke. It sounds
and you
weird
love yourself wholly and completely as who you are. You don't care how people perceive you because you know who you are.
Exactly.
Because when you know who you are, no one can tell you who you are.
Facts. And we take these labels, we take these little micro bits of language, which changes and transforms as the world grows and becomes something different. As we kind of morph into a new reality each and every time that we grow as a human race, as people within ourselves, we can decide what we want to do with particular language, especially the oppressed person who was called that language in the first place, aka the word nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Some people feel a way about it, some people don't. I mean, I think that our generation is a little more, you know, loosely doesn't really care as much because it's like we have reclaimed it as ours. It's who we are, but it's also we know who we're not. So we're saying, hey, I'm a nigga. What's up, my nigga? But at the same time, like, that's like a crown of royalty. That it's not a slur. But my mother, she's just like, don't say it. My grandmother definitely don't say it. I think it's generationally we evolve language. And I think that's what's happening when it comes to the word dyke. You're evolving language. I think also trans, right? That word itself was derogatory. And because of that, a lot of trans folks were just living solely as man or woman, right? And they weren't living within the spectrum of trans masculine, trans femme, or even saying I'm a trans man, trans woman because it wasn't safe, right? It wasn't safe in society to call yourself a label because it ostracized you to the point where, like, I'm going to be murdered. Now people are still being murdered because they identify as such, but they don't even have to say the words because people's perception sees people as, you know how many cis hetero women are perceived as trans women? Because they're 6'4" and large hands, big feet.
AKA
you know,
Serena Williams.
What I'm saying is it's perception that gets trans women killed, right? But also black trans women. So black women, 9 times out of 10, do not fit the aesthetic of femininity or womanhood in general. So it has nothing to do with being trans, but this label is now safer to use
Right.
in society, because for people to understand your experience, like I said, society gives us labels so they can understand you, especially when you're different.
Right.
Labels are only important when you're different.
Right.
The only time they're important. Because if you are the same, if you are the norm, whatever the hell that is, which is basically easy to digest. That's what normal means.
Mm-hmm.
Easy to digest. If you're outside of that, then people give you a label so they can understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all it's about.
Yeah, and I think, and I think the fact that when when lesbians, when black lesbians or studs or dykes, when they want to say that we can't use particular labels that, number one, that we've had all of our lives. I mean, for sure. Because
you were perceived as such, so that's part of who you are. That's part of your journey.
It's part of who I am. It's part of my journey. So to try to denounce that, number one, is a form of violence.
It is.
It is. But number two, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's not progressive at all.
For sure.
And I think, and the same thing, and we could have that conversation another time, but there was a similar conversation that happened on Twitter the other day where a lesbian was saying femmes, the word femme is only for lesbians and not for anyone else. Yeah. And when we start to do that creates more. There's already segregation in our community.
We don't need any more, especially not within the black queer community.
Exactly.
Come on now. We gotta do better.
We gotta do better.
Okay, you could just be I don't understand trans masculine folks identifying as dyke.
Facts.
That's all you have to say. But guess what? You're not a trans masculine person that identifies as dyke, so what the fuck does it matter?
What does it fucking matter?
That's what I'm saying. People are so sensitive about other people's labels, and you can't do this. You can't say that. I don't is that your identity? Yeah. Why are you tripping? Why are you bugging? If that's not your identity, who cares?
Who gives a damn? But
who cares?
And I think they feel like it's taking away from what we can't take. See, lesbians, we can't take away from what y'all got.
No, we really can't.
If we look at queerness or the community, the whole community as a pie, y'all got a big ass fucking slice.
They do. There's privilege. There's privilege in that, and they take up a lot of space, and they actually have space. Let's talk about that.
Right.
So, as trans masculine folks, where's our space?
If
Where do we belong?
Atlanta Pride right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not gonna feel.
I don't feel comfortable in queer, particularly lesbian spaces. I don't attend.
I don't even go.
Why would I go? I mean, for me, one, the women are not for me. And if the women do look at me, then the lesbian's gonna feel some type of way. They're gonna be like, "Oh, all right, shorty, you bisexual," and then they're gonna start thinking about relax.
Right.
If shorty's feeling me, then she has every right to feel me. I think I'm still queer. At the end of the day, I'm still queer. I just identify as a man. I might be perceived and look like a man, but I'm a trans man, so that's part of my experience. So I'm still sprouting out of the lesbian sector. As much as I don't want to admit that, because but I'm not going to negate myself from my full journey, which is female to male, which is who I am, and I accept that. And if someone's attracted, especially a lesbian's attracted to a trans man, it's it's okay. But also, it's these spaces aren't inclusive.
No, they're not.
They're not inclusive at all.
My homie just got shout out to you. I'm not gonna say your name. I don't know if you want to share the story, but they said they went to a queer event. In Miami. It was a lesbian, or no, it was a queer event. They said it was a queer event. Or maybe it was, I'm not sure. It was a pride event. There we go.
Copy.
It was a pride event.
All inclusive.
You would assume. Mm-hmm. And he is trans, and his best friend are trans, and they decided to go and show support. They bought a ticket online, and as soon as they got to the door, there's nah, no men allowed. And they're without even asking questions, without even asking pronouns, without do you guys understand how hurtful and harmful that could be?
Well, you're just trying to find a safe space, because so what is a safe space? That's something I've been trying to figure out.
Let's talk about it.
Because as a masculine presenting lesbian in the past, my safe space were, female spaces, queer, lesbian spaces, things of that nature, right? But now I identify as a trans man, and I'm perceived as male, and I enter a QTPOC space, the only thing that is oriented or inclusive is the fact that there's a gender neutral bathroom. Other than that, no one's asking. So if I meet you, if I'm yo, what's up? What's your name?
What's good, bro?
You say you're Joe. Okay, what up? My name's Sir. Like, what are your pronouns? You feel me?
Yeah,
like that should be included in all queer spaces.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we should go into a queer space, regardless of what you look like, because also allies are allowed, right? 9 times out of 10. But even if allies aren't allowed, say what's up, say hello, what's your name, what are your pronouns, and from that you should be able to get a vibe for who that person identifies. And also, if someone purchases a ticket to go to a specific pride event, like, you got to think, like, would a ally or someone that's trying to hurt or be harmful do that? You feel me? Whether you're trans, cis, or whatever, if you spend money to go to an event that's exclusively for queer folks, you're not trying to bring violence or harm.
Yeah.
Like, we got to think a little bit deeper about this. Like, and also it's like, how do you gender check sometimes? Like, even if you do ask pronouns, right? And someone is assumed, a perception, to look like male. How do you know that they should go in? Like, I get it. Because lesbians want to be safe, right? So they have their safe space, but then it's like, as a trans person navigating, I want to be included.
Okay, so we have a new guest in the building. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm KG, they, them pronouns. Hello, hello.
All right, word.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, pretty much we were just talking about how
lack of inclusivity within the QTPOC community. So, for example, like, what is a safe space? So this is our last topic. So, like, safe space for lesbians, right? Like, QTPOC is supposed to be for all inclusive, like trans people, non-binary, genderqueer, right? But at the end of the day, it's only really inclusive for lesbians, you know, girl on girl type situation. So, Joe spoke about a situation where a homie and the bro bought a ticket to go to a pride event in Miami, and they weren't allowed in because they were perceived as male. So we were talking about safe. What is a safe space? Like, as a trans person, where do we belong? Like, how can we be included, and how do we enter a space that is particularly for women loving women?
Right.
When you're not identifying as a woman, but where do you go? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's our safe space? Because it's like, I don't date just trans people.
right.
Like, I identify as trans. That's not my sexuality. That's my gender. So I think that's tough, because like QTPOC stands for queer. That's all encompassing umbrella. But then trans is a gender.
Right.
So queer can be a sexuality and a gender. Trans is specifically a gender.
Right.
So it's like, as a trans man, where do I navigate? Do I go to lesbian spaces and chill? Because those women ain't for me. They ain't checking for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I go to a cis-het black space, and I'm ostracized, and then people are, you know, those women are just like, literally, they just go straight for the balls, and then if they don't, they feel them, they want to fuck. Like, I swear to God, it's as simple as that.
crazy.
Like, cis-het black folk is really basic when it comes to like, oh, we kissing and we making out. Like, they go straight for that, and then they like, they either feel nothing, or they feel something, and they assume it's time to fuck.
Right.
So yeah, how do you feel about that safe space? Like, where's your safe space? I guess we can start there.
Listen, I have always grappled with that for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more privileged nowadays because folks like Joe and other people are doing spaces where I can feel safe. But whiles back, I'm sure there was really nothing going on. And I think that that's so suffocating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know what the answer is to that. It's like, we have to create our own spaces. That's like the tool in regards to that. But that's a lot of money. It's a lot of capacity that we don't have. Like, and it's like, it's not easy. It's not easy as we may get out to be. You know, folks are really working hard out here to get that stuff going. And that's just crazy. Like, and I really think about that sometimes.
Yeah, like, where do we belong? Where do we go? You know, I guess, like, more so now that, like, I'm cis assumed, like, in navigating those spaces, I told Joe, like, I don't feel comfortable in the QTPOC spaces. Like, yeah, you put the T in there to be cute, but like, at the end of the day, are you really including me other than gender neutral bathrooms?
Yeah.
Like, I gotta do. I'm trying to socialize, not just pee. Like, thank you, but like, I'm trying to like socialize and mingle, and like I was telling Joe, it was like, when you meet somebody in a queer space, it should be safe in the sense where you say, hey, what's up? What's your name? What's your pronoun? Like that. That should come right after what's your name.
Right.
But that doesn't happen in a queer space. But then we're trans folks, trans masculine folks, especially, are trying to advocate for that in society. It's like, if we can't do that in the queer community, how the hell are we going to do that in society? And how are we going to expect people in society to do that for us? We need to set an example. So I think, if anything, if we can't create a trans inclusive space, then queer spaces need to truly be trans inclusive by saying, what's your name? What are your pronouns? Easy. Let's start there.
Yeah. I think that's definitely a good start.
Yeah.
Seriously. And like, you know, also no shade. I swear, no shade. But enough.
No shade, just truth.
Enough fucking parties. Like.
Yeah, true.
Like parties.
That's all it is. Like, and there's so much more to the
culture.
Shit.
Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, let's elevate.
Yeah, like that's not more.
Like, let's get some healing spaces.
Yeah, like real spaces where we could chill and talk.
And just
like,
relax.
Trust me, if I could have afforded it, I would have rented this joint the whole day. Like, you know what
I
I'm
feel what you're saying. Yeah,
I feel you.
But places we could chill, talk, have a conversation, eat, sit, like, you know what I mean? So we can have opportunities to get to know each other and have these type of like really constructive conversations.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I think knowing that a trans space is inclusive to queer folks, right? Because I feel like queer spaces are automatically assumed as trans inclusive, but we know they're not, right?
No, they're not.
But like if we say something is trans, like for example, Black Trans TV, there's a lot of queer people that don't follow me because they're like, well, I'm not trans, I'm not gonna follow.
Right.
Or Black people that don't follow because I'm not trans, I'm not gonna follow. This is about humanity, right? We need to educate ourselves about different types of experiences in the world. So if you're Black and you're not trans, follow Black Trans TV. If you're queer and not trans, follow Black Trans TV.
Right.
If you're white and trans, follow Black Trans. Like whoever, like if you're a human, if you breathe and exist and you can click follow, you should follow Black Trans TV because it's more than just the Black trans experience. It's about a human experience.
Right.
Certain type of people. And I think that like that's just like white people being like, well, I'm gonna live in the hills, I'm gonna spend all this bread, I'm gonna only, be in certain ritzy neighborhoods. Look, I'm not going to Crenshaw. I'm not gonna go, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna go to the hood. Like there's Black people there.
Right.
Like no effort or care to get to know a different type of experience. I think that's the problem. Like even within the queer community, there's no care to get to know what it even feels like or means to be trans.
Right.
It's just an assumption of like, are you happy? You good? Okay, cool. But like, there's no real, what is it, compassion?
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
There definitely isn't. There definitely.
Because I've been misgendered. I'm sorry. I've been misgendered in queer spaces.
Yeah.
More than like society doesn't think twice. I think queer people think too much and then they fuck up. Right. And then they misgender people, and they don't understand how that makes people feel to the point where it's like, I'm just not coming out anymore. Mm-hmm. It takes one time to trigger a trans person. And it's like, no, trans people are not sensitive, especially in a place that's supposed to be safe. When I go to a queer space, I want to just chill. I want to be seen for who I am. It's tough. It's hard in the world, right? So when I go into a queer space, like, just love on me.
Right.
See me for who I am. Respect that I exist. And not just me, like all of us. And we come in different shapes, sizes, colors, forms. We have different journeys. Like, you're not doing this the way I'm doing it. I'm not doing the way you're doing it. Same goes as you. Like, it's not just one way to be trans.
No. It's not. And it's not one way to be
anything.
Humanity is so nuanced. Like it's almost disrespectful to try to put yourself in any one type of box. You're not giving yourself an opportunity to do anything with yourself as a human. And like, like why would you want to live like that? And I think in general, if that's how you want to live, then let that be that. But don't walk around with people like putting like you haul fucking boxes.
You have to go in this box.
That's not. It's not. This. I just don't fit. You just don't fit. You just don't fit. We don't fucking fit, and we don't want to. I think it's best to stay kind of free, and so I hope that if there are lesbians or anyone, I hope anyone who watches this really or listens to this really does get something from this whole conversation, especially this particular one, because I don't think a lot of people know that.
But they don't care to know.
They don't care.
I think that's the starting point, right? Hey. Queer folks need to do the work that they expect society to do for them.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So don't be queer and say, "Oh, I want society to love on me and do X, Y, and Z and respect my humanity," but you can't respect the humanity of a trans person who you are supposed to be including within your queer community. So I think that's where we start.
Right, right. I have another question now about queerness. Because I was actually having this conversation with somebody else, and I was thinking about it for a while. But do you think what would qualify as queerness? I think queerness has morphed into something different than what it is now. So what really does queerness mean to you? And who can or who is queer? I'll let anybody go.
I mean, I feel like a lot of folks have morphed it into so many different things. Like queerness has been identified as something different. Like you're hipster, you're fluid.
Yeah.
I like to always honor that queerness is just Q2POC, and that's it. We're gonna keep it at that. Like for me, it's always been like that. You know what I mean? But I can still respect and receive the idea of being different, being queer as well. I think those are two different spaces in itself, and I think they both can be respected as such. Like you can be queer in regards to being like queer as in who you're dating, queer as in your Q2POC, queer as in like you're just different.
Facts.
And do you identify as queer?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. And I guess for me, queer is beyond that. It's a broader spectrum. So it's anyone who does not adhere to the standards of gender or sexuality. So if you're a masculine presenting woman, you're queer. If you're a feminine presenting man, you're queer. If you're well, that's beyond gender and sexuality as well, but also like if you're an artist, I think you're queer, right? And that has nothing to do with your gender or sexuality. It could, but it also couldn't, right? Because our artist is not adhering to the standards of what a person should be doing, right? Like you should be going out working all day, you should be working 9 to 5 and things like that. If you're not working a 9 to 5, you're queer. You feel me? So I think that queer is now an umbrella term in a sense. Like, you don't have to be trans, you don't have to be cis, you don't have to be, no, that's how I feel. Okay. Because, like, I identify as queer in that sense. I'm an artist. I'm a revolutionary. I am trans. I'm pansexual, right? But those are just different labels, different boxes, right? But I think it's beyond just gender and sexuality.
So you can say, for instance, you could be what you, like an artist and kind of not confining to the norm.
Yeah.
But
like you're not adhering to the standards of what it means to be an adult, right? So it's like an adult should work a 9 to 5. An adult should, I guess go to work at a certain time, take care of themselves, XYZ. You're queer if you don't following those. I mean, now Q2POC is a particular queerness, right? I understand that transness is a particular queerness, but I think that overall, like, queer is big, it's large, and I think that our generation, right, millennials, we're queer as fuck. If we think about it in that sense, because we're fighting the status quo.
I would say that.
We're fighting the status quo of what it means to be.
All right.
Period. So I identify as queer, and I embrace that term. For a multitude of reasons. Right. But I know, like, I've had exes who identify as queer, who date cis men, who navigate the world as cis hetero black women. Yeah. But they've dated. How do you feel about that? They dated. I don't care. Why would I feel away? I'm a man. You feel me? Like, I think that's also, we get sensitive about body parts, right? Yeah. Just like society want to check me or check trans masculine folks on what's between your legs. At the end of the day, if my ex wants to date a cis man, I don't care that he's born with whatever. That don't make him any more man to me. That don't make me any less man to him. So I really don't have any sensitivity about my ex's dating. I just want to be happy. Like, if I love you, I love you, and I want you to just be happy. So I don't care if she's dating a damn donkey.
I think
I really don't care.
I think with all the things because when I think about queerness, I think about also struggle. Okay. And like the pain that it takes, like almost kind of like how I think about hip hop. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Like how there was pain and struggle, and now it developed into this it developed into this wonderful, beautiful thing that helped you, but not without the struggle and the pain. And then like now it's just this. Very interesting place where anyone's doing hip hop and anyone's. I'm very metaphoric when it comes to how I describe.
That makes sense though. It makes sense.
That's how I feel about queerness, and like as much as I want to say okay, Lausanne,
I feel you. Okay.
Like, doing hip hop, I guess. But do you fucking get it though? Get it. That's kind of how I feel about queerness. Like, okay, girl, okay, but do you get it though? Like, are you really
right? So it's like, where do we draw the line?
Maybe there aren't any lines, but
I mean, it doesn't have to
that
be
could be problematic in a way.
If
anyone could do it, then is anything, I ask all the time, is anything fucking sacred anymore?
That's what I'm saying. Safe space. What is safe? What is sacred? I don't know. Everything's blurred.
We don't know. Is that just the state of humanity in general?
I feel like as millennials, though, we're blurring the lines purposely, which is positive, right? Because it's you can navigate any space. If we're with millennials, people our age and shit, it's okay. Like, we're cool, we're chill. Like, it's really no problems. I think it's when we step out of our millennial bubble where we encounter these issues, right? So if you see a man walking down the street with a skirt, like, you're gonna assume, oh, he might identify as she, so they might be a trans woman, or it might just be a man in a skirt, or he just, like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so we think differently. But my mom sees, perception of a man in a skirt, and she's just like calling me like, I saw a man in a skirt. Like, she's uncomfortable and disturbed, and she's trying to figure them out. I'm like, did you talk to them? You know what I'm saying? Like, because us, we'll just go up to them and be like, hey, what's your name? What are your pronouns? Mm-hmm. Boom, kill the bubble. But, like, the generation, like our parents and grandparents, they're like, I saw something on the street, and I don't know, how, and they feel some type of way, but they hold on to it all day, right? Because it's so uncomfortable. But I think us, like, we just approach things. Yeah. So I think that's where we're blurring the lines. It's just like, well, if I'm curious, I'm just going to ask. Mm-hmm. How do you identify? Like, what's up? Like,
so we got some new guests in the building. Why don't y'all introduce yourselves? Oh, with pronouns as well.
Mm-hmm. Hi, my name is Ebony. I use he, him pronouns. I'm from East Oakland, California. And I'm just here at the Complex Conversation.
Hi, my name is Ericka. I use she, they pronouns. I am from the burbs of Maryland and also the burbs of Puerto Rico. I'm just here to support Joe and take a step back as a feminine presenting person in the world. Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
but to listen to what y'all talking about and call y'all in if it's a hot mess.
We appreciate
you. You need that balance. You can't have anything without some balance, you know? So yeah, we were talking about queerness, and I think where we left off was, because I had made a metaphor of how, what we think queerness is, and I said to me, I felt like it was kind of, I identified to like hip hop, how it was like came from the struggle, and like it became like this beautiful, amazing thing, and in the midst of all of that, it has formed and transformed into now like it's anyone could do hip hop, and anyone, and it looks and feels so many different ways now, and like as much as I'd like to say like, hey, like Lil Xan, I hear what you're saying. I see that you topping the hip hop charts. I also want to be like,
who is Lil Xan?
Yeah, I don't know.
I thought you knew. Or something?
It's you know.
Don't even. I don't even.
So many names. So many names.
Little Pump, Lil Yachty. So many of them. I just don't let if it's little in the beginning. I can't.
All I know is Tupac. That's it.
The last little line I fucked with was Lil Bow Wow. But
that's probably.
That was a long time ago.
He's not little anymore.
Right.
He's still little. He like 5'4".
He is very.
His masculinity isn't.
You're
yes,
right.
It is.
Yeah.
It's toxic. It's toxic as hell. But
yes,
we can talk about that another day.
So yes.
But now it's like, so we're just because. What was your thoughts on queerness again?
I mean, we're kind of talking about the sacredness of queerness, something that we kind of embody, but it's like now it's becoming like this umbrella thing, and I get it, and I want to support it, but it's like, where do we like draw the line in that regard? Where do we keep our like identities and keep it like as if like folks can just be themselves? Being so fluid in that regard.
Yeah, that's a really good.
But I feel like it's kind of blurred. Like I feel like millennials in totality are kind of queer. Like it's like okay to be, like I said, an artist is queer to me. That I consider that a revolutionary is queer. A trans person is queer. A lesbian is queer. A gay man is queer. A man that wants to wear a dress but identifies as cishet black man is queer. Just because they're stepping outside the standards and confines of what it means to be in general, gender, sexuality, or whatever, a human. I think that's queer to me. That's how I define it. So it's an all-encompassing term for me. But I do understand and respect the sacredness of QTPOC spaces and that queerness. But also I don't feel included in that queerness. So that's why I do see it as all-encompassing. And we were talking about that earlier. Like, what is a safe space? Like QTPOC.
So you feel like cute. You don't feel included.
It's cute. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, trans folks welcome, and all they got is a gender-neutral bathroom, but then everybody's getting misgendered because no one's asking pronouns. Yeah. It's a safe space for who?
Yeah.
for women that love women, straight up. Like Q2POC means lesbian. That's how I feel, and it's just like, it's just like trans people, and it's like trans people welcome. We have a gender neutral bathroom, but like when you come here, we're not gonna see you, and we're gonna misgender the fuck out of you, and then none of these women are for you.
Right.
So just sit in the corner and sip on your beer and just be depressed as hell and just that's how I feel. Like,
so you're talking about the physical spaces don't feel like they're not queering their physical space.
No.
Okay, got it.
A gender neutral bathroom. I'm coming out to socialize and finesse. I'm not coming out to just pee. If I want to pee all freaking night, I just stay home. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's very true. And I think that's to your point about it, like being the broadness is not necessarily. I also agree with you. I don't think it's a good thing. The all-encompassing nature of it has it that you can have lesbian or cross-dress or whatever means queer. You can have that mean queer, but then it cannot actually translate in actual everyday life. Like the way that to me, blackness is queer.
Yes, for sure.
Those two things are intertwined. And I feel like just by that very nature, it's difficult for me to then be like a white person could be. Sometimes even when white people call themselves queer, I be kind of confused because I'm like, your politics not queer. The way you hold space, like you just brought up, is not queer. Like it's all kind of like it is all encompassing. It's encompassing like mixed politics. It's encompassing like problematic shit. Like it's coming to mean so much more than what it was originally really like outside of the norm.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the norm means what is easily digestible.
What's easily digestible, what's palatable, what's white, you know what I mean? Like why we would only focus on gender neutral bathrooms and not the fact that it's, white people in here, saying shit is ratchet or ghetto or
trying to twerk.
Type of I mean, like the music we listening to, like it's not, none of it is really queer or being queer as a verb. It's just people calling themselves that, and that's just what it is.
And I respect it. I respect it.
The hip hop, but
hip hop. You know why hip hop is oversaturated with white folks? It's because capitalism. Let's just be real.
But also, can't we say the same for queerness?
Yes. Right. Capitalism done fucked everything up. Let's just keep it 100.
Let's talk about it.
Right.
Capitalism.
Let's talk about it. It's real cute to be queer.
Fashion. It's like a whole
shout out to Urban Outfitters and all those other fun stores.
But shout out to their sale the other day because I got some fly stuff. But I understand they're problematic. But at the end of the day, my whole existence, everybody's against me. So I still gotta finesse. But whatever. I know my politics. Not an endorsement.
That's the conversation I like to have.
Yeah.
Because I feel like our conversations are always up against whiteness.
Yeah.
But it's like, how are we going to survive inside of the systems that already
You can't just shut down and buy black 100% because there's just some things you just cannot buy.
That's true.
That a black person makes, or it's accessible because like a black person could create stuff, but it takes money to build a brand. They could have 20 products, and if all 20 products sell out, like damn, I can't get that soap.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I need soap. I gotta wash my ass.
Yep. Or I'm gonna have to buy where they sell at a brick and mortar store, and I my credit card ain't working, or my debit card, my shit overdraft. I can't actually buy it online, so I have to be in a store. Like
I feel you. It's tough. It's like how do we navigate? So it's like I'm aware that certain brands are against my entire existence, but I need new shoes.
But that's and I don't want to take them, have white people take up too much space in this conversation. But I feel like if we're thinking about that, like that's how I feel about when like you said, I mean, like when white people claim queerness, but they're still doing bad heterosexual, heteronormative
shit. I'm like, how is this queer? I'd be tripping. I guess I don't know what queer. I mean, I was talking to a black person, or rather, Afro Latinx, and they took issue. They are, I believe, lesbian. That's how they identify, and they took issue with the word queer. They were also like in mid-30s or something like that, and they was like, I feel like the word queer doesn't represent a lot of youth of color. Like, I don't know what they meant by that, but that was the first time I heard a POC be like, I don't like the word queer. Like, it doesn't represent me. Mm-hmm. But then it was like, we never got to get to okay, why is that term so bothersome to you?
Probably this. Because these reasons could possibly be
that could be it. Or it could just be inside of I don't want to call myself queer because it means weird, because I'm still inside of that it means weird and that it has that old
some people still feel like that.
And it's negative in nature.
What did that rapper say? The one that's are they engaged to Cardi B?
Yeah.
I don't fuck with queer people, right?
Yeah,
but I was working with I teach sex ed. I was teaching Black and brown youth in Brownsville, and I was talking about sexual identity. And they were like, well, didn't Offset say that he doesn't fuck with queer people? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, so how you feel about that? And they were like, oh, he just meant that he doesn't fuck with weird people. It's not queer people in the way that we understand it. He just means weird people. He's not saying, like, homosexual people. I'm just using that term for sake of clarity. But we all know what he actually meant, but it's interesting how we, Black and brown people, will give space for, like, I don't know, like homophobia, but also like, wait a minute, is that really what he's saying? And then I'm now wondering, is that really what he meant?
Yes, that is what he's saying. He's from Atlanta.
Well, we categorize what's okay and what's not okay based off if we really fuck with them, right? Because that's true. I like the Migos. This person loved them. I like the Migos, and like, so Offset say something that's problematic, but I'm gonna let that slide. Just like Cardi B supposedly is bisexual, but like she gonna let her man say that he don't fuck with queers, but like you literally fuck a queer and you impregnated a queer. But let's not talk about that. But also, is she really claiming her bisexuality? Yeah, right. That's true. But that's another level to it. But then there's also
she's rapping about it though.
There's so many people that you know.
But you're rapping about it inside of rap, which is like rap is
queerphobic, black
and it's also femophobic. So you're gonna say like I fucked your bitch, she naked. Like you're gonna, as a femme presenting rapper, you're gonna say that so that people can think you have bars or that what I mean. So people could. It's inside a rap. Like, you gotta have hella femophobic lyrics. You gotta hate women to some degree. You gotta talk. I mean, that's all Cardi B talk about. It's like, fuck this bitch. I don't care about her. They all hating on me. Bitch. And, like, that's the nature of rap. Yeah. In present.
Everything problematic. How about that?
I mean,
everything.
It is. I agree. But, I mean, it's just like, well, then how am I supposed to live?
Yeah.
If everything's fucking problematic,
but see, everything is not. I don't think everything is problematic. I think we just so inundated with problematic shit that we just get used to it. Yeah, and we just get desensitized to it.
Yeah,
it's heavy though. I ain't gonna lie, it's heavy. Mm-hmm. When I actually think about my blackness, when I think about my queerness, when I think about my transness, when I think about masculinity, all that shit is heavy. Mm-hmm. It's heavy to carry. It's heavy to navigate. Like, I could do something because I want to be a strong black man, but then that's hella problematic and toxic at the same time, right? Like, I could just like automatically assume that every woman needs a man's help, right? Mm-hmm. She pushing the stroller and she looks like she's struggling, and she might just be struggling and be okay. She can figure it out, right? Because she does this in her life. But I'm like, I'm a man. I'm gonna go get that for you. I got the baby. Right. Just doing, like, overexerting my masculinity, thinking that she needs my assistance because I'm a black man and I need to take care of the black woman. Right. That's problematic and toxic in the sense that, like, yo, like, chill. Like, not, like, women been doing this. They good. They got themselves. Like, if you generally struggling, I say, do you need some help? And you say yes, but I don't have to assume. I feel like there's a lot of assumption that we're needed as a black man. Then I can think about my transness, and I can, I feel like I silence myself in a sense. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm trans in the black space, but in the queer space, I'm gonna say I'm trans.
Interessante.
It's weird. Like, navigating as a queer, black, pansexual, black man in 2018 is really tough. Yeah. And also the assumption that I only date like cisgendered women, right? Because I'm a black man. Yeah. Because being a black man means that. Right. In society. Yeah. But no, I date femme energy individuals. I don't care what your body is. Femme energy is because I'm masculine energy. I don't, it's like, but it's like everything I am is, it's just heavy to navigate because it's all these assumptions.
Yeah, I feel like what you're saying about masculinity is that you kind of have to challenge a narrative by being yourself. Yeah. Like, it comes down to that at the end of the day. Like, your toxic masculinity is because of what standards that folks put out there in regards to what being a masculine person looks like. Yeah. So as long as you're like, you know what, I'm not the type of person to like open the door for nobody, so I'm not gonna open the door for nobody. Not to say that chivalry is like basically saying chivalry is not something that has to be like uplifted in regards to being a
Just
man
be
or being a
yourself.
masculine person. Just nonetheless, just be yourself. Like,
But with being yourself, if a woman's walking through a door and you don't hold the door for her, you're looked at as an asshole.
But you also don't know if that person is a woman. You don't
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like people be assumed. Like even queer people, we do it all the time. Where it's like we in the world and we see somebody with a stroller and we thinking, oh, that's a woman. So like, let me go inside of my masculinity, go help her, rather than it being one, I don't know this person's gender identity.
Facts.
Two, they have a baby stroller. It's hella hard in New York. The baby's in the stroller. It's heavy as fuck. It's hella stairs. Like, boom. Like,
Just
I don't
help.
think it was. I think it's really great that you are checking it inside of your masculinity, but you also have to KG said, look at okay. Am I the type of person? You seem like the type of person where you would just help.
I'm just a helpful person, but
it's not even gender for you. It's but then it's also that
I'm thinking about it
voice.
Because it's also because I have walked past a woman with a stroller because I had top surgery 2 times, so I couldn't help even myself carry groceries. So I had.
But you felt the way because
I felt a way because I couldn't. I had to be like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, and then she's looking at me like, why not? Right? Explain yourself. Yeah. Because it's a hood, right? They stop the stroller and they look. And I walked past and I'm like, I'm sorry. I felt I had to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now. I didn't give her a reason because I didn't want to out myself as trans in this, this neighborhood. But it's just I felt a way as a man not being able to carry. And it's been tough, not being able to carry what you want because surgery doesn't make it easy to navigate as a black man in society. I'm struggling with the bag. I'm holding the bag like this because I can't pull my back, back up because top surgery is really debilitating and it really crushes your emotional, physical sense of what it means to be a man. People don't talk about that. They don't talk about it. It hurts. It hurts to not be able to navigate in the world as you have always navigated because now you got your chest spliced open and you're supposed to be super fucking happy and you're not. You can't move. You can't even wipe your ass. You feel me? There's levels to this.
I think it's interesting that we talk about masculinity and oftentimes the conversations around masculinity, like this event is open to everybody, right? But the assumption, at least for me when I see events like this, is that it's going to be for folks who navigate the world and present in a way that's masculine. Right. But then we don't necessarily talk about the black person, especially a black feminine presenting person, with the stroller and how they are socialized to believe that they are also masculine, right? But they are or a lack of femininity. Does that make sense? Where it's we always ask the question of where do femmes fall in the conversation of masculinity? And I feel like that is a very racially charged conversation that we have been, from slavery, been expected to do labor, expected to carry the stroller up and down. You know what I mean? A white woman would never stand there for very long with a stroller and struggle with that. It's supposed to be damsel, in distress. You know what I mean? Right. But the ways in which we even treat black cis women or any black person that's a feminine, right, is a way that's get harder, be stronger, figure out yourself or stand up for who you are. It's it's always this machine of be masculine, whatever this inside of this very narrow view of what masculinity is, right?
You're right.
Which is all rooted in white supremacy. Masculinity looks like a white man, you're supposed to be like a white man. Don't cry, don't have emotions, be hella dominating, show up for people, have a lot of money. That is created by them and upheld by them. But I feel like this conversation can expand so much more in the ways in which we treat other folks that look different than what is masculine. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah, but I think that also going off of that, so the male gaze, that's major, right? In terms of masculinity, it's what do you deem feminine and attractive, right? So going off that sense that a black woman is expected to carry, 9 times out of 10, this black woman is not sexually desirable to men or a man based off of her perception, right? Because a white woman, damsel in distress, I'm gonna help her. But if a black woman that you don't find attractive is there with the stroller, you're gonna be like, she can carry that herself. That's the attitude that most masculine presenting. But if she's a fine black woman, with a fat ass and whatever, and she got the baby stroller, so I'm gonna help her out because what I'm saying, I might finesse this situation. I think that that's also something that the male gaze is important when it comes to femininity or the black femme, especially.
Who gets to say?
Who gets what? Am I going to help you or not based off of your desirability? Because that's part of masculinity too, and that's just to be real. It's like the gaze is important, which sucks, and I hate sometimes encompassing that. Like being authentic in my masculinity means that I encompass all these assumptions and bullshit fuckeries of what it means to be a man.
Yeah, I mean, pretty privilege definitely helps. All throughout everything, all across the boards through masculinity, through femininity. I mean, like attractive masculine folks and attractive feminine folks. I mean, like the type of privilege that attractive masculine folks get compared to masculine folks who are not.
We were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, but the thing is, attraction is always based off of the convention of whiteness.
True.
You know what I mean?
Lighter is better.
That's the only standard. I do feel like in the black community, like we do have different standards around what is deemed attractive, but it's also inside of the gender binary. So it's like, okay, a nigga gotta look, he gotta look like Denzel Washington. You gotta like, as a trans masculine black person, I have to try to like look like, this, I have to fit that. Like, I have to fit somewhere. That's the spectrum. It's like, you gotta be tall, dark, handsome, whatever the fuck, like, that is. Even though I feel like it just changes, depends on, like, where you are, if it's in the hood, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all changing, but it's all not rooted in anything. Like, real. Like, it's all something somebody made up to, like you said earlier, like, how do you, to navigate the fucked up, problematic, messed up world that we in?
Right.
Like you are, you do, it's not like I'm saying, oh, it's all based in whiteness, so it don't impact people no more. You still gotta like be fly, you still gotta have on whatever type of clothes, you know what I mean? Or you're just not gonna be dating anybody. Right. Even in your queer QTPOC community.
You right.
All of that. If
you're not light skinned enough, you still gonna be dealing with that. Like if your hair not a certain curl, you're gonna be dealing with that. It still all exists.
If you don't look like like when I was growing up, if you didn't look like B2K, you was out.
If you didn't have a B2K braids,
I can't the reference though.
You had to pick one. Which one were you?
Or the J Boog.
I'm problematic in a sense.
The J Boog S curl. If you didn't have the S curl, what was you gonna do?
What was you gonna do? What was you
gonna
do?
True.
And it's true, and it still counts for now. Now you do something like
you
look like Jesse Boykins. You look like
Jesse Williams. Who look like Boykins or Williams? Who you with?
Like I mean, that's you know what I mean.
And only then do you get accepted in these queer trans parties that you know what I'm saying? Like, only then are they looking at you and then, it's just
it's messed up because, I mean, I accept my privilege 100%. I accept my privilege. I'm light-skinned, pretty hair, all that. So people look and they're more desirable towards me, right? Because my partner, brown skin, chocolate fine brother, right? Mm-hmm. But we started Black Trans TV. I've been the face of the platform a lot more, so people have been gravitating towards me. Mm-hmm. He comes on there, he's not getting the same love. Or I'm on there and people are like, well, I want to see a brown skinned brother. Like, basically, then it's reverse, right? You're not black enough because I don't fit the narrative of what it means to be black. But I accept the fact that, like, people gravitate towards me. I realize that that's a thing, right? But at the same time, I'm getting rejected from black people because I don't fit the narrative of what it means to be black because I'm too light-skinned. My hair grain is different. The way I speak, the way I was raised, and the fact that, financially, I'm pretty okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm being rejected from black society because of everything that I am.
I want to start calling this the Tinashe conversation. Yeah. Like how Tinashe was like, black people don't support. I didn't get as successful because black people don't support my music because I'm light skinned.
What was that?
Tinashe,
she said that.
I love to get on, like that one song.
She date basketball.
She's a light skinned singer. She had a song like in a couple years ago.
You're asking if I know.
I'm saying if you know basketball, Ben.
But I think this is the conversation that we need to have around colorism. Is just like
colorism is a problem.
Yeah. But I feel like I feel like light skinned people sometimes get like in the they don't feel accepted by black people. But I don't think that it's like darker skinned black people or black people not accepting light skinned people. I just feel like dark skinned people, it's just so much we have to do on a daily basis. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like I'm more interested in like what light skinned people think about colorism. Like, what is the conversations that light skinned people have? Like, and it's starting to come out now more, but I feel like inside of the colorism conversation, I really want to like parse apart like what are we saying to each other when we start to be like, oh, y'all don't accept me because I'm light skinned, and like what that really means. Like, well, I don't know. I'm just curious about that.
It's more so the fact. I mean, what you gotta say?
I feel like it all depends on how you perceive your blackness. You know?
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, like I don't feel like I'm light skinned, but when I was a kid, like, you know, I was treated like I was light skinned, you know, in so many different ways. And I've always seen like little girls and little boys that were dark skinned and they have coarse hair, whatever the case may be. And they're being called all kinds of names, and I'm like, why are people? And it's our own people too. Like, why are we like calling each other these names? And I'm feeling hurt for them.
Yes,
because I didn't feel that privilege. I felt the privilege even though I didn't know the term.
Don't what it was.
But I felt it. I was like,
that's
like,
I think
why
that's
y'all
it's
doing
hard
this?
to hold.
And for me as a black person, I'm like, yo, this is not cool. Like,
right.
And it's just
this
like,
don't make no sense.
So trying to advocate for darker skinned people, well, black people in general is what I do, right? I got love for black people, and I always stress I'm black when people ask me what I'm mixed with because of my grain of hair. That's 9 times out of 10 why I wear a hat, because I don't want people focusing on the waves. Like, I'm not, like, it is what it is. I grow my hair out because that's just the way it is. But like, I purposely wear a hat sometimes so you just look at my face. You know, I guess it's like certain things that I do so that you can just focus on me and what I'm saying, because I take my hat off and then people like start questioning by my look, because I look Dominican or some bullshit, but I'm black. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But as
Dominican.
Well, that's the problem too. But I'm saying, like, black people come to me and they go, "Oh, you got pretty hair." Like that. Even that within black community is what I'm saying. Like, it's like, what? Like, I'm not here to talk about my hair. Like, oh, like, I like just like little things that black people do to light skinned people to make it seem like we're different.
No,
like,
it's to curry favor. Yeah. It's not to call. I feel like black people do that to curry favor with light skinned people. It's to let you know I'm attracted to you. It's to let you know that you desire.
But I'm not trying to be in a space and be attracted, or people be attracted to me. I'm coming in a space.
But you can't control that.
I know I can't, but at the same time, it's frustrating. So I think that colorism plays, and it's my frustration of like, I want to walk into a room and not be seen as a different type of black.
You have to be responsible for that light skin privilege.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. I accept and I understand the levels.
But are you light skinned though?
That's what I'm seeing is that people say I'm light skinned.
Joe light skinned.
Joe is the same color as me. Joe's the same color.
This is what
here we go, bro.
This is so ridiculous. I'm looking at you. I'm like,
I'm just saying, people call me light skinned. That's just facts. I mean, I don't know.
But you know what?
I don't think I'm hella.
I'm wondering. Inside of an intercommunal conversation, I'm wondering if your hair is pretty comes from a surprise that your hair is pretty, because you are not. For me, looking at you, not light skinned.
But I appreciate that.
But if I look at Joe, I'm expecting that hair.
Okay.
Like I'm like, yep, it's gonna be cute. It's gonna be whatever cute, pretty hair is.
But then when people look at me and I take this off, they don't expect my hair to be my hair like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's
right.
like,
but what did you people say you had pretty hair growing up?
Yeah, but nobody would expect that with my natural hair. That's why I grow my hair out. I have my afro. People like, oh, I don't like that. But when my hair is shorter, you can see my curls, or you can see waves. When
Maybe
I
you see your
I'm feeling brown skin today, though. I like this.
You are.
No, thank you. Yeah. Because I'm always put in situations where I'm ostracized, and Joe even know. Like I go through places. The way you feel, the way you see, because people see me as light skin. Come back in this. Come back in this. But I think it's just black people, because of white culture and white society, are nitpicking our blackness, and black people nitpick their blackness. That's all it is.
That's all.
So it's being aware that,
and that's a function of survival.
As a revolutionary, as someone that has their face out there, I understand how people can perceive me. I guess that's where I'm coming from, right? I claim black. I think I look black. I feel black. I navigate through the world as black. But I know that within blackness, that there's levels. And I accept the fact that people might see me as different, but I'm fighting for totality of black people, and I don't think there's a difference. It really,
so if you see this light-skinnedness on BlackBoiComplex, and
we black in here.
I'm not light-skinned enough.
We black in here.
I'm truly sorry, but I'm black as shit. And I'm for the liberation of blackness worldwide. So, like it doesn't matter, but I do want to definitely wrap this up. Does anybody have any final words on like?
Man, we talked about so much, man.
We did talk about so much.
In this short period of time, too. Let's see. I don't know. Y'all come back to me.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for coming, you know, taking some time out your morning to come and fuck with your boy. And for all those who actually got something for this, you know, please share. You know, do the thing, the clicks, do all the clicks, like, subscribe, all that. But definitely, if anything, share this and have conversations with your people, because this is something that definitely needs to happen. For sure.
And make sure QTPOC includes love for trans folks, no matter how they identify, whether you see them as a man or see them as a woman or whatever. Like, ask their name, ask their pronouns. Like, let's be inclusive within our own community so that we can ask for inclusivity and totality of society. Because we can't ask for something we can't give ourselves. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
You heard it here first. Complex Conversations, Black Boy Complex. We're in the mix. Check us out next week. Live.
You already know.
Stay tuned for the next one, y'all.
All right, peace.
Why I gotta do it like that? Got the nigga should like that. Why I gotta dress like that? Got the nigga chest like that. Why you gotta be like that? Wish you could be me like that. Why I gotta be like that? Wish you could be me like that.